The TACAM R-2, Self-propelled Anti-tank Gun R-2, is a self-propelled anti-tank gun developed in Romania during World War II. The chassis is based on the Romanian export version of the Czechoslovak light tank LT-35, known as the R-2, and the gun used is a captured 76.2 mm field gun model 1942, ZIS-3, from the enemy Soviet Union. One prototype with a different mounted gun was produced in 1943, followed by the production of 20 units in 1944. Following the development and production of the TACAM T-60 self-propelled anti-tank gun from 1942 to 1943, the conversion of the R-2, originally held by the Romanian Army, into a self-propelled anti-tank gun was planned. Before the war, 126 units of the R-2 were imported from Czechoslovakia and used as the main battle tanks of the Romanian Army. However, it became clear that their light armor, maximum 25 mm, and weak armament, 37 mm tank gun, were insufficient to compete against the powerful Soviet tanks. Based on the requirements issued in the spring of 1943, the development was carried out by a team led by Colonel Constantin Gheura, similar to the TACAM T-60, and a prototype vehicle was manufactured at the Leonida factory in Bucharest from July to September. The first 20 R-2s were withdrawn from the units, and between February and June 1944, they underwent refurbishment at the Leonida factory. The production model TACAM R-2, equipped with a new type of gun, was able to penetrate at a distance of 500 meters using domestically produced armor-piercing shells, based on the results of shooting tests against captured T-34s. However, by this time, the Soviet Army had also begun to deploy heavier armored IS-2 tanks, and in July 1944, the refurbishment of the remaining 20 vehicles was cancelled. The modification essentially retained the original R-2 chassis, only removing the armor from the top of the chassis combat compartment. A new armor plate was added only to the upper part of the cockpit, on which the gun was mounted. The new combat compartment was open, having armor only on the front sides and the upper half, with the inside of the side armor serving as a shell rack. The newly designed armor on top of the combat compartment also reused captured armor plates from BT-7 and similar vehicles, just like the TACAM T-60. The TACAM R-2 was deployed to the 63rd Tank Destroyer Battalion of the 1st Tank Regiment in July 1944, but it was too late for the war against the Soviets. These tanks were used in the pursuit against the German army after Romania's surrender and turned to the Allies. After the 1st Tank Regiment was disbanded by the Soviet military, the remaining vehicles were assigned to the 2nd Tank Regiment and were deployed in battles in Austria and Moravia. One TACAM R-2 is still preserved in the Central Military Museum in Bucharest, Romania.